It's time for the Financial Crisis Talk Center with Ken Gross and David Einstandig from Thav Gross.
Credit card debt is number one. I view it as financial cancer.
40% of your gross income is going to just pay the debt service. You got no chance of getting out.
I would give up my credit score to get rid of debt.
Here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome back to the Financial Crisis Talk Center. I've got Dave Einstandig with me, Jenny Lingle with me, Brian Small with me.
How you doing, Kenny?
I'm good. Oh, great, Kenny.
We called me Dave.
Davey.
No, you called me Dave, so I can call you Kenny.
I should call you David, but I did a whole commercial after you. Dave.
Morning, Ken.
Topic of the day, how financial crisis management can change your life. We're going to do a case study, going to lay it out for you. I think it brings home the point of how things can be dramatically different by taking some steps. Let me give you the facts. Our fictitious clients are Barry and Sally, and hopefully I'll keep their names straight as we go through the outline. I have a feeling I already messed up and changed Sally to Sarah, but we'll see.
Vegas odds are like 3-2.
Barry and Sally have tax problems. Here are their tax liabilities. 2008, they owe $75,000. They filed their return April 15th, 2009. Jenny, pay attention because this is all on you. Brian, you too. 2009, $75,000 in taxes, income taxes owed. They filed their return April 15th, 2010. 2010 taxes, they owe $100,000, filed October 15th, 2011. So they owe $250,000 in tax liability. They have credit card debt, personal credit cards, $100,000. They had a business that went flop. That's why they got all these liabilities. Business credit line, Bank of America, they owe them $300,000. They have a home, fair market value, $300,000. First mortgage to Bank of America, $400,000. So they're $100,000 underwater, even though the house has gone up about $40,000 in the last year. Their mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is $3,000 a month. That's $2,500 of principal and interest, $500 for taxes and insurance. Their gross income now, it's not as high as it was when they incurred the tax liabilities because they've restarted. We're talking about Barry and Sally. Okay. Is $8,000 per month. Barry and Sally here on the TV and radio commercials, all these options that they have to solve their problems, but they don't know what to do or who to call because there's so many different people out there. There's the tax relief companies. They're talking about offer and compromise on the taxes. Collection due process hearings they're talking about. Currently not collectible. All these words, these acronyms that you hear on the tax relief people. Debt settlement companies are advertising. They're saying, we can take that $100,000 of personal credit card debt and save it and get you resolutions for pennies on the dollar. Then there's the bankruptcy firms. They're saying, file bankruptcy. And then Barry and Sally are asking themselves, well, if I make $8,000 a month with that kind of income, can I file bankruptcy? And what about the tax liabilities? Are those non-dischargeable? Everyone thinks in terms of tax liabilities as being you can't get out from under Uncle Sam. And then you have on top of all of this, you have the loan modification companies. They're out there. And they're saying, modify your loan. We can reduce your payment. Maybe we can get you reduction in your principal, reducing the balance down to the $300,000 market value. The question that comes to mind is, who should they go to? How are they going to get the right answers? And if they go to the wrong people, are they going to go down the wrong path?
As well as on each of these alternatives, you're faced with the issue of, is there somebody that you could actually meet with, or are you only speaking with somebody who you don't know, and for all you know, could be in a different state or a different country?
Absolutely. When we do our seminars, you have a key role in the seminar. You make a very short, concise presentation, and you put up a picture of what?
Number 13.
And what is it? Number 13 is what?
What is it, Jenny?
It's the quarterback.
The quarterback.
And what does that mean?
The quarterback is the conductor, is the leader, is the Peyton Manning, is the Drew Brees. And Brian, who else do you want to mention from U of M?
Well, there's only one quarterback from U of M that's worth talking about, Tom Brady.
Right. And basically it is, you need
None of
somebody.
these people won the Super Bowl.
No, this is true.
You need that that firm that can basically advise you of your reasonable and viable options and implement a plan from a global perspective as well as
you need the quarterback, because if you call the tax relief company, they do tax relief, and the only way they make any money is if you hire them. So they're going to say, we can help you, we can solve your tax problem. You call the debt settlement company, they don't make any money if you go to a bankruptcy attorney. They're going to say, sure, we can solve your credit card debt, we can help you. You call the bankruptcy attorney, he's going to say, we can help you if he doesn't, even if the other situations were possibly better for you. You call the loan modification specialist, he's going to say he can help you. The question is, which one of these things should you do? All of them, some of them, none of them? That's the key to financial crisis management. That's what you have to figure out what to do. Rule number one for financial crisis management is you need to preserve future income for you and your family. That means your job is to figure out the least expensive, most effective way to get rid of the debt so that the next day the income is going into your bank account rather than to the banks. So if one solution is going to cost you $30,000 over 3 years, and another solution is going to cost you $4,000 over 1 year, you're $26,000 in 2 years ahead with the right solution. The question is, you have to figure out which one it is. That's the big key. Now, let's suppose Barry and Sally call me, or they call Brian or David or Jenny, and they say they want to come in for a free consultation, or we talk to them on the phone. That's the process that we have to take under control and analyze. And what we do, what we consider financial crisis management, is we pull all of these disciplines together in one. We analyze whether bankruptcy, debt resolution, tax settlement strategies, loan modifications are the right, which is the right mix of these various options in order to maximize preserving your future income.
And typically, within 24 to 48 hours, that initial game plan can be determined.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to analyze Barry and Sally's situation, and we'll see what the results are. We'll be back after the break.
You like your job. What you don't like is the way your boss has been treating you. He's making comments about how you look instead of your work, and he's been touching you inappropriately. If you complain, is he allowed to fire you? Absolutely not. Unwelcome sexual comments, advances, and contact are illegal in the workplace. Make him pay. Gold Star Law is here to help you through your employment law problem, whatever it is.
Gold Star Law, protecting employees' rights. Call 1-800-WAGES-10 for a free consultation today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Every family has the family meeting, and we all know what that means. Dad's got dementia. What are we going to do? What's the care plan that the family has in place? Usually they don't, or they struggle with a care plan. When you go home tonight and you talk to your tax person and you talk to your financial person, say, what's the plan that you have in place? And as soon as they don't give you an answer, give me a call, because I can do it for you.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, It's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, welcome back. All right, so we're going to walk through Barry and Sally's situation and analyze it and see what their best alternative is. Before we do that, let me do a couple quick announcements. Our websites are now smartphone adaptable. So if you go to thavgross.com or financialcrisistalkcenter.com on your iPhone, you'll see that it's a program designed specifically for the iPhone. You can get all of the information, sign up for seminars. The Financial Crisis Resource Center is available with all the information about these various issues that you run into, videos. It's all there. The Financial Crisis Analyzer, which took 3.5 years to develop, has finally been launched. It's available on the website. You click on that, you enter your data, it then crunches the numbers and analyzes the numbers to determine a situation just like Barry and Sally, saying what your smartest available options are from the standpoint of what will work and what won't work. So if you're Barry and Sally and you don't want to listen to the rest of the show, you should just go to the Financial Crisis Analyzer, put in your information there, and you'll get the same basic outcome, but with a little less flair and drama. If you're on the websites, become a Financial Crisis Talk Center member. There's a spot to click there. You'll get our updates, newsletters, weekly bulletins, any breaking news in financial markets. We provide that and tips and so forth. Upcoming seminar, go to our website. Take a look at the slide if you're watching the TVs. We have a seminar coming up very shortly. You want to sign up for it 7 to 8:30 p.m. At our offices at 12 Mile and Telegraph. You sign up. We send you the tickets in the mail. People really enjoy the seminars. They get good attendance.
What else they get?
They get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt, and they get a lot of good legal advice for free.
Are you out of the 8x10 glossies?
No 8x10 glossies. You can
right.
bring you can bring your smartphone and take a picture. How's that, Dave?
All right.
How's that, Dave?
Pretty good.
Dave. I want to thank our sponsors, Venn Johnson Law, Gold Star Law, Samasco Law, Double Action Shooting Range and Gun Shop, Spine Specialists of Michigan, Elite REO Services, Alan Stalter, and upcoming Cardiology Associates of Michigan. All right, now back to Barry and Sally. How do we analyze their situation? Here's the process in financial crisis management when they give us the facts that we've already gone over. The first thing we look at is the house, and we do an analysis. We ask the question to ourselves, could we possibly reduce their mortgage payment and maybe gain principal reduction? Here's the analysis. Wait, before I do it, I'm gonna walk you through what we do first. First, we analyze the house. The next thing we do is we look at the tax debt, credit card debt, and business debt in a progression to find out which is the best outcome for getting rid of it. And the first thing we ask is, could we possibly discharge all of this debt in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy? And if we can get rid of the credit card debt, the tax debt, yes, the tax debt too, the Bank of America credit line, even the liability on the mortgage, in a Chapter 7 discharge, it's the cheapest, least expensive, fastest way of getting rid of the debt. And that's the goal of financial crisis management.
Ken, I want to emphasize real quick, though, when we do that, we're saying it, you're giving a quick overview, but we need to, and we do, get into how the house is titled and the estate planning and what's been done, because each and every one of those facts and elements may determine where you are at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And after I give the steps of what steps we're going to take with Barry and Sally, we're going to do the steps based on these facts. If the Chapter 7 doesn't work, the next question is, will a Chapter 13 work? And are there benefits to a 13? Is there a second mortgage we could lien strip? Will it be cheaper in a Chapter 13 to get out of debt than would it be if we instead went and had Jenny handle the tax problem dealing with IRS and offers in compromise and collection due process hearings and currently not collectible determinations, if we did debt resolution on the $100,000 of credit card debt as well as debt resolution on the $300,000 credit line. Is that the best outcome? We go through the progression to figure out which is the smartest play.
And don't forget, Ken, when we're looking at that progression, these tools are not mutually exclusive. In this situation, we may have to combine tools. We may have to do some debt resolution because Chapter 13 might be the right solution, but they happen to be above the debt ceiling in this specific set of facts, and we bring them below the debt ceiling to do the Chapter 13. Debt resolution and Chapter 13. Or maybe we do an offer in compromise because an offer will get rid of the taxes for pennies on the dollar, then we do a Chapter 13.
We have to analyze. So let's take Barry and Sally and analyze it and interject those issues right as we go along the way. Let's talk about the house first. The house, as to modifying the mortgage, our conclusion is going to be that it's HAMP eligible and they would be eligible for a modification. Why? You take gross monthly income, $8,000 times 31%, that equals $2,480. That number is less than their current mortgage payment of $3,000, therefore they're HAMP eligible. In all likelihood, they will get approved in a modification, reducing their payment to $2,480 from $3,000. Next question. Could they get principal reduction? The house is only worth $300,000. The mortgage is $400,000. Answer: their mortgage is held by Bank of America, one of the 5 major lenders: Bank of America, Chase, GMAC, Ally, Citi, Wells Fargo. Those are the lenders that are subject to the National Mortgage Settlement. Those are the lenders that have the greatest likelihood of giving principal reduction on the mortgage. So that's in play and that's possible. So the side note is, right off the bat, we're sitting there saying this is a viable strategy for Barry and Sally. But now let's go on to the next point.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. There's a real big risk here with principal reduction that you have to put into play, and which is the next point, which is, do they qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy? And timing about everything is really important, because if you get principal reduction and then you do a bankruptcy to discharge everything else, you're going to have potentially, not necessarily guaranteed, a taxable event.
You said it the opposite way, though. If you did the principal reduction first,
right.
If you did the bankruptcy first, then you did the principal reduction, then you'd have the tax problem.
No.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go over this with Brian and get it straightened out. If we got 10 seconds. If you file the bankruptcy
before you do the loan mod, you won't have a taxable event issue with regard to principal reduction.
I want you to think about that at the break, and we'll come back after the break.
Every family has the family meeting, and we all know what that means. Dad's got dementia. What are we going to do? What's the care plan that the family has in place? Usually they don't, or they struggle with a care plan. When you go home tonight and you talk to your tax person and you talk to your financial person, say, what's the plan that you have in place? And as soon as they don't give you an answer, give me a call, because I can do it for you.
Do you have tax problems, unfiled returns? Facing levies on wages in your property? You need an expert, not a cartoon character or salesman. Thav Gross is your solution.
You need to look at the big picture. That's what we do. We develop a plan that's right for you.
I had major tax problems. I didn't know what to do.
You need to address the problem now. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Going from hourly to salary seemed like a good career move, but now you're working 60 hours a week instead of 40, and you aren't getting paid any of that extra time. You're stuck, right? Wrong. You can be on salary and still be entitled to overtime. If you've been wrongly denied such pay, you may be entitled to that and more. Gold Star Law is here to help you through your employment law problem, whatever it is.
Gold Star Law, protecting employees' rights. Call 1-800-WAGES-10 for a free consultation today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Are you struggling to pay your mortgage? Afraid of foreclosure and the financial mess it can cause? Time is not on your side. Call Alan Stalter, the short sale specialist. For years, Alan has been helping distressed homeowners navigate through the short sale process. His experience will get you out of your home without the credit score damage that follows foreclosure. If you want a fresh start, you need to call Alan Stalter, the short sale specialist, 248-854-3829 or MetroDetroitShortSale.com.
An important message if you're planning to file for Social Security disability.
The biggest problem I see is people don't go to an attorney until after the claim for disability is denied. You need to get it right the first time.
Before you file for Social Security disability, call Thav Gross.
We do the homework to make sure the claim is properly presented so that you get the benefits you deserve.
Call Thav Gross, 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Call today.
All right, welcome back. All right, the tax issue that we're talking about with Brian, and Brian is correct, but let me just kind of lay it out very quickly. If you get a loan modification and they reduce your principal balance, or you do a short sale and they cancel your debt, that income of the canceled debt results in a 1099-C that's taxable to you unless you fit within one of three exemptions. One is bankruptcy. Two is the insolvency rule, which means if your liabilities exceed your assets after the cancellation of indebtedness, you do not have liability. And the third one is...
the Mortgage Forgiveness Act.
Forgiveness Act, which is on your principal residence, that expired December 31, 2013, and is expected to be extended, but hasn't been extended yet.
So for those of you that have received 1099-Cs for cancellation of indebtedness due to the mortgage forgiveness from the year 2013, which would be right about now, considering this is the March show, you are going to not have a taxable event if you utilize the money that was forgiven for the purposes of improving or purchasing the home. If you used it to run your business, it's probably a taxable event. We can talk about that some other time.
All right, so moving on. All right, so that's where they stand on the house. All right, now let's do the debt elimination analysis. Is a Chapter 7, here's the biggest question is a Chapter 7 possible for Barry and Sally? And here's how it works. You go through a means test calculation that examines the amount of income they make, and if you have too much household income, and generally speaking, $8,000 a month would put you in a situation where you pass the means test and you wouldn't be eligible for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy as a general rule. However, there's a major exception to that, and the major exception is if your non-consumer debt exceeds your consumer debt, then you can still be eligible for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy absent an abusive situation. Now, in Barry and Sally's circumstance, their non-consumer debt consists of the income taxes of $250,000, the business credit line of $300,000, which is a total of $550,000. Their consumer debt is their mortgage of $400,000 and the $100,000 of personal credit card debt, which is $500,000. Since $550,000 non-consumer is greater, they can still fit within a Chapter 7.
Ken, I need to emphasize that the income taxes are categorized as non-consumer debts, and I bet 8 out of 10 attorneys you would ask will get that wrong.
I absolutely agree with you. And then the next question is, are the taxes discharged? So they could file a Chapter 7. Now, are these, Jenny, Brian, are these taxes dischargeable?
The answer is, in order for an income tax to be dischargeable, there's a simple rule: 3 years, 2 years, and 240 days. The tax had to have come due more than 3 years ago. The tax return had to have been filed for at least 2 years, and you couldn't have been assessed within the 240 days preceding the filing of the bankruptcy.
All right, so in this case, where do they stand? Give us the
outcome. In this case, the taxes are dischargeable on or after probably October 16th, 2014.
As to the 2010 tax year. The other
Yes.
2 years are already discharged.
That's assuming they didn't go to one of these tax relief companies who said, let's just file a CDP, because that would toll the 3-year statute.
There you go with those acronyms
Which is why
again.
it's-
I told you if you use acronyms, you're going to get hit.
So there's certain things that you can do that can toll the statute, which is important while you go to the quarterback.
What's
because
CDP stand for?
A collection due process hearing will toll the 3-year statute, which means if your plan was or your plan should have been to file a Chapter 7, you can really do a lot of harm by going to someone who doesn't know how all of these things work together.
Because they go and extend the date, and then you have to either wait longer to file the bankruptcy, or the bankruptcy attorney screws up and files the case too soon, and then the taxes are not dischargeable.
Jenny, how would you know? How would a client even know if they were in the CDB process, if they were dealing with a 1-800 company in
Well, the
California?
first thing that I do is I get a power of attorney and I get what they call the account transcripts from the Internal Revenue Service. Brian and I never take a client's word for it that they filed on time, that they didn't do X, Y, or Z, because a lot of people just don't know. So we get the transcripts, and that tells us. So we don't make any moves until we've done the analysis.
You got to be careful. All right, I want to wrap up where these numbers come to and get that out there, and then if we have any more time, we can talk about it. But they will fit within a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Cost, let's say the cost is $2,500 between tax analysis and everything else, just to throw out a number in terms of what they're getting rid of in all this debt. They also get the benefit of discharging the obligation on the mortgage so that they can walk away from that house anytime they want without any liability, but they can also stay in the house,
So
modify
long as
the
they
mortgage,
pay
and make their payments at the lower amount. And if they get the principal reduction, they have no reason not to keep the house and let it keep going up in value.
Yeah, the beauty is the mortgage becomes a non-recourse loan.
Absolutely. They're reducing their mortgage payment from $3,000 to $2,480. Cost of a loan modification around $1,950. If you want to know numbers in terms of how things play out. Now, what if they have the wrong quarterback? What if they make the wrong mistake? What if they go to the tax relief settlement companies and the debt settlement companies? Debt settlement companies charge you about 18% of the debt. They've got $72,000 in cost when it comes to getting rid of $400,000 in debt. And then they got to settle for around $200,000. Loan mods, that'll still work for you, but you want to make sure that the loan mod is done and timed if there's forgiveness of principal indebtedness, so there's no tax consequences. Tax relief companies, you go to a tax relief company and they say you're eligible for an offer in compromise. You could pay them $7,000 to $10,000 in fees, and even if they get you an offer in compromise, you're still going to have to pay back some of the debt. Jenny, if you're making $8,000 a month, what would a typical offer in compromise be if you had no other assets?
Ken, it depends. I can't answer that.
A lot more than $1,500.
A lot more,
sure.
but that's a math calculation.
The bottom line is you make the right call and you can change your entire life. Barry and Sally are debt-free for about $3,000. That kind of wraps it up.
Which is better, $3,000 or paying $40,000?
Over 3
$3,000
years.
or paying $72,000?
Preserve future income. Have a great week. We'll be back next week.